What's going on, YouTube? It's James with Shyhammer Fantasy Battle Reports, and I got Game 4 of Brawler's Bash today, 2016. Now, in Game 1, I had a big massacre win against a dwarf opponent. I just slowed down his movement so he's marching 3 inches every turn, and I picked my battles, and Nashers basically won the whole game for me. Game 2, I got crushed by a Sylvan Elf army. I failed a really bad charge, or a flea, and my opponent just ran down my main blocks, and my general got crushed by a crush attack, and just demolished, and it was a big massacre loss for me. And then Game 3, I went against a Wrath Demon army, and they just overpowered me. His Bloodthirsteress style monster Demon Prince just destroyed my A-Rock, destroyed Dread, and it's just been those 2 games are kind of a crushing defeat to me. Now, I did get insight that I did have good painting scores, and I did find out that there is a best Orcs and Goblins award. So there's like 4 other Orcs and Goblins players, and I'm like, I gotta do this. I'm Shyhammer. I'm the guy who's on freaking every YouTube video here showing like tricks and stuff on Orcs and Goblins. How can I not win this award? I gotta fucking work hard. Now, I got good paint scores, boosting up one of the handicaps for my losses, right? So I have 2 big losses, and so maybe one of them I'll even out with good paint scores, pushes me up a little bit, right? But that means not only do I have to win the next 2 games, I have to like really beat my opponents and take secondary objectives and hope that whoever's on top with Orcs and Goblins somehow loses, which is right now Gene, and Gene is like up in the top tables right now, and I'm just like, man, I could do this. I really got to focus, guys. So first guy right now I'm going to go ahead and play against is John Wagner. This is day 2 of Brawler's Bash. John Wagner has an Empire of the Sonnstahl army, and I did my homework the night before. I'm trying to figure out exactly what he has in his army, and we're going to go over that right now. Let's see what I brought first. Right here I got my unit of Orc Ed Bashers, 33 Orc Ed Bashers, 2 hand weapons, the banner to help them protect them against shooting, 5 aboard against shooting. Over here I have my unit of 30 Nashers, and these guys are a destructive force to deal with, especially against a unit like or a game like this where I'm going against Empire. Everything's slower than these guys, which is a godsend. Now, the Orc Ed Bashers, they do have the BSB with them. The BSB is whatever, he has screaming swords. Over here I have a unit of I have 3 war machines. I got the Splatterer, which is a rock lava. I got the 2 Git launchers. And then over here I have a unit of 12 Orcs with crossbows. And then I have the level 2 Shaman with them. Over here I have my characters. I have King Koopa's in the front. He has a 1-up armor, 4-up regen. I have Longshot in the back middle. He has the shotgun of the Skull Splitter. 4 shots, multi-shot, always hits on 4s. And then I have Kabuto the Python on the right. Kabuto is a level 2 Feral Orc Shaman with Lore of Wilderness. On the left side I do have Chickenhead, but Chickenhead's not playing. He's just there for moral support. And then over here I have Warboss Dread Irontooth with his 7 attacks and his trusty Nidhogg Wyvern. Over here I have my A-Rock, the Ohio Ocon MVP, the A-Rock, the Gargantula, the Mother of Dragons, the Khaleesi. This thing is just wonderful. It does a bunch of stuff. And ever since I've been using the web launcher, I just love it more and more, because I feel like even in the first few turns where she's not in combat, she's still taking out people, which is just awesome. And slowing them down as well. Over here I have a unit of 20 Goblins, Skirmishers, Forest Goblins with the banner that gives them poison. And then over here I have a unit of 5 Wolf Riders. Just fast cav. Now for my opponent, I have to go through his photos really quick to find his army. I'm sorry, before we get to the his army, I do have a picture here. He has, you see that gold coin on the table? The objective of this game, we're playing on a diagonal, but we also have two tokens. All right, so his token is just that gold coin. Basically, he has whoever has more banners around that token is going to get a point. Okay, and whoever has control of both points with the most banners gets additional secondary objective points. So we use that one as his token. My token was actually my old Boar Boy BSB here, so that way, and I put mine way in the back. I'm going to keep it with the war machines and just kind of just like keep protection of it. This is honestly just done strategically because I need to get every point I possibly can. So I can't just have this up there where it's going to lose points. So I'm going to have the crossbows with their banner holding this one and hopefully get all my other units with banners over on the other side. As for my opponent here, he has a big unit here of like great swords, I think these are called, or I don't know what they're called honestly, but these guys are all great weapons. They have plate mail. They have like 2 or 3 characters in that unit right there, and it's just like, holy crap, that's a strong fighting unit, and I really don't want to fight them. They do have bodyguard as long as they have those characters alive, and there's a couple characters in there, so I'm really not looking forward to fighting those guys. But their armor save does save their ass for a while, so I'm going to have to figure out a different way how to deal with them specifically. He has a giant block here of 40, it looks like 50 halberdiers, alright? 50! Holy shit, I think it is 50. Holy shit! He does have his BSB in this unit, and that's just a lot of people to deal with. Over here in the back on the left, he has the Luminarch, which has a guy with, I don't know, it's basically bound items. They're going to shoot thunderbolts, and it gives like a aura. That the aura, one of them gives them rerolls to hit, the other one gives them aura for something else. Now, lightning reflexes, that's what it is. On the right, that altar, that's his general. He's on like a war altar. He has his own bound items, going to do his other things too, and he also has a magic item that swaps stats with whoever you're fighting. So if I got Dread into combat with this guy, I'm going to get my ass kicked by it, because he'll swap stats with Dread, and Dread has a shit ton of attacks. So I'm just like, nah, just stay away from that guy. Over here, he has his level 2 of light, and he has a unit of skirmishers with bows. And I gotta give this guy a lot of credit. That is an awesome display for a light wizard and its unit that's holding him. So he just has a bunch of hobbits, and he has Gandalf there. In the front left, you could kind of make it out. I don't know if I have a better picture of it until later, but he has an Oregon gun or a Hellblaster volley gun, whatever it is, a multi-shot 24-inch range gun. So that's one of his war. I think that's his only war machine, to be honest. Oh, you can see a better picture here. Sorry. And then he has a unit over here, which is like a small supporting unit to the main company. That's the halberdiers. These guys are just a unit with like swords and shields. And then he has another supporting unit over here, which is just the spearmen. And these spearmen, there's like 20 of them, with banners and ranks, of course. And then over here, he has a small unit of guys with swords over here, and he has a freaking tank. A fucking tank. Alright? I am not looking forward to this tank. All I have that could take out the tank is honestly my Git launchers, or hopefully a lucky shot with my rock lava, right? So that's focusing a lot of power on this guy, and it's really, the one thing I'm not enjoying about the tank right now is he does have a very destructive cannon on it, and the cannon can mess up my big monsters. So one of my goals right now is I realize that the power of the cannon is nerfed down if I could damage him enough. So that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing to help for my strategy. Over here, he does have a unit of demigryphs, whatever their name is now. Now, I expected, studying up on Empire the night before, everything else he had on the table except for the Empire Knights, the demigryphs. So I'm like, shit, how am I going to handle these demigryphs? So he drops his whole army, and I decide to start like matching up. So I put my Wolf Riders on this side. The Wolf Riders are just basically, again, chaff. So their whole goal right now is I don't really have to chaff his army. So I put the Wolf Riders down here, and I'm going to try to make them just loop around and get to that organ gun. I need to get that gun out of there. I know it's not an organ gun. I think it's just a Hellblaster gun or something, or a repeater gun. I'm going to call it an organ gun. I'm going to call it a Hellblaster. I'll just call it a Hellblaster, whatever. I put Koopa over here, and Koopa's job is to take out those demigryphs. If he does not get to the Demigriffs, he needs to get to the War Machine. If he does not get to the War Machine, he needs to get to Gandalf. Alright? Over here, on this side, you can see I have the A-Rock chilling back. The A-Rock could shoot its web launcher all day. I have the only ones up on that line that is the, the middle of the table is my Forest Goblins, because everything, they're in the forest, they're skirmishers, they're not scared about the Hellblaster, and anything that charges them is about to take 40 freaking tomahawks to the face, okay? So, I'm not too worried about them holding their own there. The Nashers and the Orcs are chilling 25 inches back away from that Hellblaster. I am not going to give him 2 rounds of shooting my ass before I do anything. And right now, majority of my army is a shooting army anyways, so I might as well take advantage and do that. Now, I believe I have first turn. I don't have pictures of my magic. Am I serious? I don't have pictures of my magic. Well, right off the top of my head, because apparently this is already the start of turn 1, I had Shadow Miasma, I had Swarm of Insects, I had the Redwood Shaft. Man, what else did I have? I had I want to say I had Curse of the Wildwood. I might have not though. And we'll figure it out as the game goes on. He had a ton of spells because there were a lot of bound items. He has like a Thunderbolt. He has 2 banishments. He has some other stuff. And I'm just like, out of all his things that he has, the one thing I'm worried about are those banishment spells. So I'm just saving my dice just for his banishments. So as you can see, I didn't really move much. I ended up moving my Wolf Riders, you can see, all the way up on the right side. They try to fit in the crack. They're out of his line of sight of his Demigriffs, and they're going up the side of the tank and the other guys, because, like I said, they're just going straight for the Hellblaster. Koopa just kind of squared off against the Demigriffs. He's not scared. Koopa doesn't care about some Demigriffs. He's just going to go ahead and try to fight him straight up, but I'm staying out of his charge range, so I could either he moves closer or I move closer and charge him. So magic phase, I got 5 power dice, and I go ahead and I throw up 2 dice on Shadow Miasma, and he dispels it. I throw 3 dice onto Swarm of Insects to try to get rid of that organ gun, and he dispels it. I rolled a really shitty roll on that, 6. Actually, I think I might have needed 8 and just failed it outright. So shooting phase, I'm going to go ahead and shoot my Forest Goblins right into his little chump Spearman unit. I kill off 2 of his Spearmen here. That's about it. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and shoot my Git Launcher into his tank. It does 1 wound that gets through. I shoot my, I want to say this was the Web Launcher, at his Horde here, and it drifts off, only hits the front rank, kills off 2 guys, slows them down a bit. And then I had Longshot pop up on the left side since he's a scout. I've had him pop up on the corner of the left side. He's out of the range of the organ gun, and he's kind of in the most annoying spot possible for my opponent because he can't really get to him. So Longshot's just taking cheap shots at his big freaking Luminarch thing. It does 1 wound onto it. It only has a 5-up ward save. Its armor's pretty low, I think, like a 5-up armor. So he got 1 wound off on it. It was the Rock Lava, because then the Web Launcher shoots and it misfires and it can't shoot for the rest of the turn. But that was it for my turn. I didn't really do much. I killed off a couple guys and I got a wound with a long shot. We're going to go into turn 1, Empire of the Sonnstahl. So he goes ahead and he moves his tank towards Koopa. He decides to move the Demigriffs towards the Wolf Riders, and it just looks like this giant circle of like a circus, like dun, da, 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 over on the right side. He moves his skirmishers trying to protect his stuff on the flank that the Wolf Riders are on, and he doesn't. I think he tries to move up a little bit, but he doesn't really move up too much. He just moves up just like a wave, but really slow. He's moving Gandalf and the Hobbits off the hill, so they're not really a target. We're going to go to Magic. Magic, he goes ahead and he throws up Banishment. He gets it off with double 6s, but he does it onto my Forest Goblins, and I'm just like, you know what? Do it, man. I don't want him to banish me. I was going to stop it at all costs, but he threw like 3 or 4 dice on it, so I'm just like, go ahead and do it. So he kills off 4 of my Forest Goblins with that, but he takes a miscast where he takes a big template. Oh man, and he kills off only 3 of his hobbits. 3 of his hobbits, and his wizard takes only 1 wound. So that's not a bad trade-off really, but whatever. His wizard only has 1 wound left. That's awesome. Shooting phase, he's gonna shoot his Hellblaster at my guys, and he gets a misfire, so it lowers. Which counts as 6, so get 12 shots on that, but he gets a misfire, so it's -1 to hit, and another 8, and another 2. So or I guess that's just showing me that he had 20 shots. Whatever. He shoots it at the Forest Goblins, like I said, but he only gets 2 through. So Forest Goblins are alright. They're holding strong. The cannon shoots at Koopa, and Koopa, boom! Bounced it off his stomach because Koopa doesn't care. Koopa bounced that freaking cannon off of his stomach, and he's like, ah, ha, 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 ha. Ah, man. So, it's going to start off turn 2 Orcs and Goblins. Turn 2 Orcs and Goblins. As you can see, the rat race on this side is continuing to go on. The Wolf Riders, I believe they actually failed their march check, so they just only moved up 9 inches or so. Koopa's still chasing the back end of those demigriffs. Over on this side over here, as you can see, Dread's chilling back because Dread doesn't want to get shot by a cannon or a organ gun, and I don't really want to set him up for a charge yet. I moved the Forest Goblins up even further because they're just going to continue to shoot, and just try to take out that horde as much as I possibly can. And as you can see, this is kind of how it looks right here. We're going to go into Magic Phase. Magic Phase got 7 power dice. I can't add. I can't do math. Come on. I'm from Chicago. I go ahead and I throw up a couple dice onto Shadow Miasma, and I throw it on the cannon to lower his ballistic skill because he's getting closer to my A-Rock, and I don't want him to hit my A-Rock with anything. I go ahead. I think that was it for my magic. I think anything else I did, he really just stopped it. So we're going to go to shooting. Oh, I tried to do the bees on the organ gun again and just failed. We're going to go to shooting. Shooting these guys over here. They're going to shoot at that horde again, and they end up killing off 5 of his halberdiers, which is decent. Over here, I misfire one of my Git launchers, and the other Git launcher hits and only does 1 more wound. They're not doing as much as I need them to do. I'm going to go ahead and shoot the stone thrower right at his general. It drifts off. Or no, it actually hits the general, wounds the general, does 2 wounds onto the general. That was actually pretty good, but just didn't finish the job. I only got a 1 on the D6, and then it's 1 plus 1. The crossbows over here, they're going to start shooting at his halberdiers. They do 4 more wounds. Oh, shit. Onto his halberdiers, which is awesome. And that's how the table looks right now. I did move Dread over to the left. I'm still keeping my guys out of his range of his organ guns because I just don't want to get blasted by an organ gun. And it's going to go ahead and start off Empire of the Sonnstahl turn 2. Empire turn 2, he charges these spearmen over here into my goblins. I decide I'm going to go ahead and I think I stand and shoot. I do. I stand and shoot. I only kill off 1. He decides he's going to throw a second charge with the small unit here, and I decide I'm going to flee. So I flee away like so, and they pop through my units, pop out this way, and they end up getting literally that close to the edge of the board, but they're still on the table. They pop out the other side of the A-Rock. I know it looks like they should be popping out further than the A-Rock, but it's just the way I made the base. The base has all those rocks and stuff, but since he killed enough, they're not touching that back rank against the A-Rock, so they're still alive. Oh, man. But, so he's going to have a couple failed charges. He just moves up everybody else like so, and he moves up that tank. Now, the tank is in a very shitty spot for me because that means I can't stand back anymore. The more I stand back against that tank, I'm just leaving myself open for a unmovable, unbreakable thing just to stay there. And if I charge it, I'm not going to do enough wounds. I just personally know I'm not going to do enough wounds. Even though I have like 30-something attacks or 40-something attacks that go into him, it's a freaking like a 2-up armor or 1-up armor or something like that. I'm not going to get enough to destroy it in one shot. Unless I was extremely lucky, and it's just not looking that way. So I can't charge it. I have to do something with my Orcs soon. And that's going to be nasty. Anyways, we're going to go into his Magic Phase. Magic Phase, he got 6 power dice. He goes ahead and gets double 6s again on the second freaking time he's done this. I think he got a miscast on every single turn he did. But he goes ahead and gets it. And he does it on the Luminarch, though. And I let it go through, obviously, so he could do it. He shoots his Thunderbolt right at my General Dread. And bam! Horde save again! He's like, son of a bitch. So he takes a wound from that, I think, and he just loses dice. So that goes his Magic Phase. Shooting Phase over here is Hellblaster turns around, faces the Wolf Riders, and just no more Wolf Riders. And that's about all he has. We're going to go to Orcs and Goblins turn 3. Now, I know these pictures are going by pretty fast. I'm going to be honest, these turns are taking a really long time. It's kind of where, like, I think it's a lot of thinking back and forth, and not only that, I know I slow down the game a little bit because I take pictures, but it's kind of like we're in a tournament, so we're just trying to hurry through these. So turn 3, Orcs and Goblins. I decide, you know what? I need to charge with the freaking Orcs. So the Orcs are going to charge here. I think he might have fleed that unit. He did flee with that unit. So I said, all right, I'm going to redirect into his horde, and I turn not only the Orcs but the Nashes into his halberdiers. Now, if I could have done Dread, I would have done Dread too and called out the Wog. The problem here is Dread is just slightly back, like 3 more inches, and it's just way too far of a charge for Dread. And if I fail that charge, I'm giving him up my general to those freaking sword masters. So I'm like, I just can't. I want to, but I can't. And so I go ahead and I roll the dice. I charge in with both of these units, and the Nashers got in, but the Orcs failed charge. And not only that, he's going to counter charge with his supporting unit, and they charge right into the side flank of my Nashers, and they get in like so. So now my Nashers are kind of going to have to do a fight of their life here. The good news is, if they blow up and lose, that's a good chunk of guys they're going to take with them. So I move the A-Rock up, I move Dread up. My Goblins on the bottom actually rallied, which is just phenomenal. And as you can see, Kabuto is kind of with the Orcs over there. He's just trying to shoot his shit just to get rid of those things. I move him 24 inches away from the cannon. I think actually this one I might have failed doing the 24 inches. I know one turn I was just like, I didn't move him close enough to do the redwood shaft into that cannon, or the tank. But I need to, or else I'm in trouble. So we're gonna go into Magic. Magic got 8 power dice. Okay, dice have been okay with me. I go ahead and I throw up a couple dice onto Shatter Miasma, lower his ballistic skill again. He stops me. Well, actually, no, I threw this onto his main unit. I threw this onto his main unit to slow down everything, all the stats, and he stops it. He uses a Dispel Scroll. So I go ahead and I throw up 5 dice onto the Redwood Shaft, and that roll is just horse shit, man. I needed a 14 to get the big spell off. I got 11. That's horrible, man. Ah, shit. Shooting. This Git Launcher blows up. Can't shoot for the rest of the game. This fucking Splatter or Misfires cannot shoot for this turn. And that's about it over here. We're going to go into the crossbows over here. They're going to shoot at his sword masters or his great swords. They kill off 3 of the great swords. And then over here, my Nashers, that's his BSB. I'm sorry, his BSB goes, kills off 2 of my Nashers. I'm thinking I'm getting all these attacks before the Halberdiers. These guys are only human. I'm going to take out a good chunk of them before they even get a chance to attack. And he's like, oh no, they're the veterans or whatever. And they got +1 initiative. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So they're going at the same time as my squigs. And as you can see, they kill 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 squigs. 17! Oh my god! My squigs attack back. They killed off only like 8 or 9 of his guys. And, no, I take that back. They didn't kill off 8 or 9. They killed off 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 on this side, and then they killed off another 3 on the side on that side. So I killed 17 back, and it's just like, haha! You have a banner and a BSB and a side flank, but I killed off about 17 and I charged. And I'm going to stick there for that turn. And he's just like, ugh. Now, he does get all these re-rolling stuff, and he does get the lightning reflexes and all that stuff because of those 2 machines on the back. They're giving him buffs in that unit. But my Nash just took out a good chunk of both units, and it's going to go ahead and start off. Or no, I go ahead and I roll the dice. I believe this is actually for me to stick. And I only lost by like 1 or 2. I might be in the general's bubble. I don't remember what I needed. But I ended up rolling, and I stick. So the Nash just stay there. This is how the table looks. It's going to go ahead and start off Empire turn 3. And he's going to go ahead and charge the great swords into the side flank here. Can't do anything about that. His guy over here is coming towards my first goblins, and he fails! He fails to get into him. He only needed like a 9 or a 10 on 3 dice, and he rolled like a 7. And he was just like, oh, shit. And he falls just short of my force goblins. So my force goblins still have a chance to get the hell out of Dodge right now. And then his Demigriff started coming this way. I don't know, where's Koopa at? I think Koopa's behind the Demigriff still. Magic Phase, he got 7 power dice. He goes in and does the Luminarch Thunderbolt again. I let it go through. It doesn't do anything to Dread. Or no, I Dispel Scroll something. I don't remember. I think he tried to do Banishment, and I was like, Dispel Scroll. Get rid of that fucking spell, man. We're going to go to Shooting Phase. His Hellblaster's a lot closer to a lot of guys now. Shoots it at my Orcs. They're in the woods. Long range. get cover. He only does 1 wound, and I think he did like 3 wounds, and I ward saved 2 of them. So there's only he did 1. That's the first time in like 14 games or so that somebody shot that unit, and I actually ward saved it. I used the ward save. I'm actually contemplating taking that banner out because nobody shoots this unit ever. So we're going to go to close combat over here as BSB goes. BSB kills off 2 of my Nashers. My Nashers get destroyed. They just get destroyed. I believe I attack some guys. I love this picture. That's his dead pile. He just threw them all in the middle. Like, that's how many people died. The Nashers killed look like 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 guys, roughly. But the Nashers took out that giant block of guys was like 500 or 50 halberds, alright? Plus his BSB. His BSB is still alive, though. I took that unit down to like 8 or 9 guys left. So the Nashers did their job. They really did their job. They did damage output. Unfortunately, I wasn't expecting him to be initiative 4, so that he did get a jump on me. But he had a reform facing this way. He really couldn't overrun shit. So he reforms like so. And it's going to start off Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Koopa is charging these chumps, and these chumps decide to flee, I believe. Nope, they stick there. They stay there. My Orcs over here are going to charge into this small unit here. Now, if he flees, I'm going to go ahead and just overrun into his main unit, and he knows that. So he's just going to go ahead and stick there and hope for that I roll a bad overrun. So Koopa gets in. My Orcs get in. This is kind of looking how it looks like. His great swords are kind of like trying to avoid the fact that Dread and A-Rock are coming up the left side. So they're kind of like staring off at him. Magic Phase got 5 power dice. I go in and I throw up Swarm of Insects. Finally goes off. I think I just threw all 5 dice on the Swarm of Insects. And no, I didn't. It goes off. That's the 5d6. That's what it is. And I finally only get 1 6 on the fucking War Machine. Ah, son of a bitch, man. Only 1. I just needed like 2 or 3 of them, and it would have killed it. So his Hellblaster's still alive. I go in and I throw out the rest of the dice onto Redwood Shaft. Hits him, wounds him, and it does a couple wounds. I got a bad picture here. So it looks like I might have wounded, I don't know. Anyways, we'll figure it out. Shooting phase, my other Git launcher can't shoot because it misfired. What the fuck with all these misfires? And for the record, guys, I'm putting the little misfire dice there. It's not even that dice. I'm using other dice now. I'm using like regular dice, and it still misfires every time I shoot these things. I'm just cursed with them. I'm honestly contemplating not taking War Machines anymore just because I misfire with them so much. Oh man, Koopa over here kills off 3 guys. He goes ahead and attacks back, doesn't do shit. I stop and I kill off 1 more guy. He fails his leadership check. They're gonna run, and I run this way, and I overrun. I'm facing down that organ gun. I want to get that organ gun, or the Demigriffs. I don't care which one he gives me. I want one or the other, or that unit of spearmen there. Over here, he only kills off 1 of my Orcs. My Orcs go back. Oh, he countercharged, didn't he? I think he countercharged. He did countercharge. I charged him. He countercharged through the spearman into this unit here. And how did this work? Oh, no. I take it back. I charged this unit. He killed 1 guy. I destroyed this unit. I overrun. And there's a reason why there's so low on pitches because we're getting really low on time. So I overrun. I hit his main unit like so. And then he countercharges with the spearman. And it's going to go ahead and start off Orcs, or Empire turn 3, 4, I forgot what turn this is. He decides to charge his general into my Orcs. We went back and forth about can his swordman see my Orcs, and for some reason I usually have a laser pointer that helps me out with situations like this. I left my laser pointer at Once Bitten's house, so I couldn't figure it out. Luckily, the person who's playing right next to me is actually Spam Sandwich, and I'm like, dude, do you have one of those laser pointers? He's like, yeah. So like after like a 5-minute debate about can they be seen, can they not be seen, because I would have been able to push them over more. I try to push them up as much as I can without getting seen by that unit. The answer was no, they can't see me. So he's gonna charge in like so. He moves his Demigriffs over here, which is just fine. I could deal with Demigriffs. Magic Phase got 6 power dice. He goes ahead and throws up I forgot what he does. He obviously, as you can see, he reformed his swordman to face off at Dread. Dread's over here, and then Longshot's still alive. He's just shooting people in the back. I just keep on. I started to forget to use Longshot because Longshot's a chunk of his dead bodies, and then I kept shooting his Luminarch, but his Luminarch kept ward saving or whatever it was doing. So at some point I kept on rolling, and sometimes I just kept forgetting. But he's facing off this way, tries to do up another thing onto Dread, and I let it go through. He ends up getting 2 wounds onto Dread, which that hurts. Goes ahead and tries to do his Hellblaster volley gun into Koopa, and I'm just like, Koopa doesn't care, man. Go ahead and do your Hellblaster. So he goes ahead and does it, and BAM! He just destroyed Koopa. Holy shit! Oh god, I was in close range. I deserve that, man. I deserve that. I was taunting the Hellblaster the whole game, and he just shot the crap out of Koopa. Koopa could bounce a cannonball off of his stomach, but he can't take 50 shots from freaking Hellblaster to the face. The tank did get into these guys over here, and he just starts destroying my Force Goblins. Force Goblins can't do shit against this thing. So he ends up killing off the unit. They run off the table, and it just sits there. Over here, I challenge his general with my champion, because I figure he's going to get all these attacks with his general and all this shit going on. I was like, might as well just do it to one guy versus my whole army, because I would rather have more bodies attacking back. So he goes ahead and he took 1 wound somehow. I think I did it with the champ, and he goes ahead and he's going to kill my champ. My Orcs on this side kill off 5 of his spearmen. They kill off the rest of the halberdiers, or they kill off 4 halberdiers. So so far that's like 9 wounds. He goes ahead and attacks back. He killed off a good chunk of my Orcs, but the thing is, I think I lost by 1. He got a charge, got a BSB, got a banner, he's on my flank. I think he might be disrupting my flank. I don't think so, actually. I think I have 1 more rank than he does. I don't remember how that works. But I have a banner, I have a BSB, he has a banner, he has a BSB, and we did all the points, and I only lost by 1. I roll the dice, I still have my BSB there, I roll the dice, and I pass it. I was like, oh shit, my Orcs are going to stick there. Actually, yeah, I think, did he run? Question is, did he run? No, he didn't run. I'm still there. So let's go ahead and start off Orcs and Goblins turn 5. I think this is 5. It might be 4. I lose track so easy, guys. I decide it's time for the big boys to come out to play. A-Rock is charging his general who's locked in combat over there. Dread is charging his Luminarch. I could have had Dread charge his general, but as I told you earlier, this is not going to really do much. And if Dread charges the Swordmasters, Dread's going to die. A-Rock's too far to help out on the Swordmasters, or Greatsword, so I decide A-Rock, General, Dread, Luminarch. It's getting really close to the end of the game, guys. Right now, at this moment, I think we have like 5 minutes left, and I was like, look, dude, we're locked in combat right in the middle. The way this combat goes depends on the points of the game. You know what I mean? So let's just play it out. And he was a good opponent. He was like, let's go ahead and do it. Let's see what happens. So we do really fast turns. Magic Phase got 8 power dice. First off, Dread and A-Rock did get in, by the way. I go ahead and I throw the Redwood Shaft onto this thing, and I only do 2 more wounds onto it. Unfortunately, it's not at 25%. He's going to live. I go ahead and shoot the crossbows into his Greatswords, kill off 3 more Greatswords. I go ahead and I do close combat. Close combat over here. He challenges. I deny it with my BSB. I'm like, I'm not going to let his general live. So my A-Rock goes and kills the fucking general. A-Rock, you mean son of a bitch, you. I love you so much. Oh, the Orcs go and kill off like 4 or 5 more halberds in front of them. The spearmen kill off 2 of my Orcs. I end up finishing off all the halberds. I try to kill his BSB, but his BSB has like a 2-up armor rerollable or some shit like that. And I go ahead and I do like 1 wound to the spearman. I win combats, okay? And he is not steadfast. No, he's not steadfast. So he goes ahead and he rolls. His general's dead. A-Rock just did a bunch of wounds. A-Rock overruns, hits into that unit, the rear of the unit of Swordmasters, right? He's going to go ahead and run. A-Rock was out of combat, by the way. After he killed the general, there's nobody touching A-Rock, so I just did that really fast. He's going to run, and when he runs his BSB from center to center, because the BSB is the only one alive, and center to center, I mean, you can see my Orcs, this is like the left side of them. The right side had more, so he's running in a diagonal straight into the middle of the combat of Dread, and the Luminarch hits them, takes a dangerous terrain, and fails the dangerous terrain, and his BSB died. His BSB only had 1 wound left. That causes a panic up there, which means his hobbits are going to go ahead and run. I believe they should have been able to run off the table, but he's like, I was like, they run from the whatever caused the damage, and he was like, oh, they're going to run this way, and I was just like, I'm not going to complain, man, whatever, it's right there. But holy shit, this combat over here, Dread is destroying the Luminorc, does like 3 wounds to it. It goes ahead and attacks back, cannot wound Dread, it breaks, it runs from combat. I overrun, and I overrun towards his organ gun. Alright? So it's going to go ahead and start off his turn 5. He's going straight into magic. He tries to do like some banishments and stuff, and I stop it. He does something else to it. I think he shoots the organ gun at him, and it does 1 wound onto him. 1 wound. I'm still alive, but he's going to get the 25%, or get the 50% because he damaged me up to 25% left. And over here, the A-Rock starts just destroying the unit. He's going to be steadfast. A-Rock kills a bunch of them. He killed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. 9. We just didn't even take the bodies off because it's the end of the game. And he fails to wound any, but he's going to be stubborn, or because he has bodyguard. And just, yeah, that's the end of the game. It was a massive win for the Orcs and Goblins. Thank God. Best news ever was the fact that I just finished this. I'm like, yes, I got a good. I didn't get 20-0, unfortunately. I got like an 18. But after I win this game, and I got my objective points. I got objective points for my banners being by the one objective. I got an objective point for my other guys being by the other. I got the bonus objective point. So I got a good chunk of points on this game. And then one of the guys from YouTube comes out to me and says, hey, Gene, the other Orcs and Goblins player who's on the top, lost. And I'm like, oh, shit, it's on now. Oh, the best Orcs and Goblins players, the best of Orcs and Goblins is getting really tight. The next game, I am on the table right next to Gene. And we're like, oh, shit, here it comes. And Gene knows. He goes up to my opponent and tells him, you got to beat this guy because he's going to take my spot for best Orcs and Goblins. He has a better painted armament than me, so you need to beat him bad. It's getting really tight now, guys. Man, I had a lot of fun in this game. It really kind of sucks that we had to cut it short. I think that, I mean, obviously, if the game would have continued on, it would have been, it could have gone either way. I mean, Dread would have probably just destroyed the organ gun. He did have demigriffs really close by. And then the A-Rock would have eventually finished off that unit of great swords, and it would just been whatever. It would pretty much been game over either way. I would have got more points. That tank was annoying the hell out of me. I think, unfortunately, after the first round, that the Git launchers didn't do enough wounds to it. I think I should have just left it alone. I think that it's such a point denial item, or the monster, basically. I think I should have focused fire on the organ gun from the beginning. Just do as much as I could to it. And I do believe I could have used, looking back at the video, I could have used the forest goblins a little bit better. I could have used, instead of trying to get in their face for tomahawks, I could have just used short bow, stayed out of their distance for a while, pick at them for like a turn or two, make them come closer to me, then do tomahawks. You know, that's something I learned from watching the videos over again. I know in version 9.9, which is the current version, I don't even get poison shots, but I still would probably use that unit of goblins just because it's such a cheap unit. They get stubborn in the forest. You can still give them poison if you get the magic spell for it. You can still give them a strength 4 if you want, if you could get the magic to do it. So it's still a potentially good unit. I'd probably use them a little bit different though, because right now I use them kind of like right in your face and you're just getting poisoned, and it's such an annoying unit that it causes you to focus on them. As for MVP, oh, that's a tough one. I think the MVP, that's a tough one. I think it would probably be either the Nashers or the Orcs. I mean, the Forest Goblins did okay. They killed off a couple guys. The Orcs really held it down. I think the Orcs are the ones who deserve the MVP. They earned all the points at the end. The Nashers did weaken up everybody in the middle of the game, which I thought was great. I think I didn't use Dread as much as I possibly could. So I'm gonna give it to the Orcs, the Ed Basher unit. I love the A-Rock. She did great. She killed the General, which is awesome. She started killing off some great swords, but she didn't end up finishing the job there. If the game would have continued on, I would have definitely given it to the A-Rock. But I'm giving it to the Orc Ed Bashers. They ended up taking on a side flank and a front flank, and they just fought it for 2 rounds, and they held their own, and they did a good job in the middle of the game, which is a first for them. Does that mean that I'm going to not switch them back to Savages? Hell no, I'm still switching them to Savages. Savages are the way to go. They get just more attacks. Those charges that get impact hits, it would be a different story. It would have been a much different story with Savages. I mean, I would have won regardless, but I would have had more attacks, and I would have just destroyed so much more faster with Savages. I do get less bodies, and that's the one thing that's like, oh, it's killing me. It's like, why do I get less bodies with Savages? I want the same amount of bodies just with that freaking 6-up ward and impact hits. Come on, guys. Is that too much to ask? Kabuto didn't do his job. He didn't kill the freaking organ gun. He didn't kill the tank. Kabuto, you failed me, buddy. Koopa, you know what? He got blasted by a Hell Blaster. He got blasted. But I'm not going to be mad at Koopa. Koopa, you deserve a night off. I'll just put it to you that way. You just deserve a night off. The Wolf Riders didn't get to do much. I didn't get a chaff as much as I wanted to. And even if I put them in the front for chaff, they would have got blasted anyways because that organ gun Hell Blaster was on a hill. So I think being the diagonal deployment helped me out in this game greatly. I think the Nashers helped me out greatly. If that one turn the Orcs and the Nashers both charged would have got in, that would have been a different story. Because he wouldn't have been able to counter charge the way he did. If he did, it would have been a front charge, not a side. It would have been, again, a different story. My War Machines just let me down this game. The War Machines would have made a big difference if they would have been on point from the beginning. And then Baxter, I mean, he did great. Long shot, I forgot about him. I did like a couple shots that he ward saved, and I was just like, yeah, I forgot about that guy. So, but he did save me some points at the end because he forgot about him too. He didn't spend any time trying to kill him. Big win, Orcs and Goblins. Can't wait to make the next video for the next game. The next game is Game 5. I'm going against another Demon Legion army, and it's another bloodthirster in that army. Oh my god. How am I going to handle this? We're going to get to that as soon as we can. And then I do have that game against Once Bitten. Once Bitten has already put up the game from his perspective on his channel, so you guys can see that if you guys are if you haven't seen it already. You can go to Once Bitten's channel and see it there. Anyways, guys, till next time, take care. If you haven't hit like and subscribe, hit like and subscribe, and I will be trying to finish off the Brawler's Bash, try to put up the videos that show all the armies on display that I got pictures of, and also I got the game against Once Bitten and the game against Spam Sandwich coming up very soon. Game 5 first though, and I'll see you guys then. If you haven't, if you guys would like to donate something to my channel to help me either pay for batteries or pay for the trips that I go out to do these games, you could always go to my YouTube channel. I have a donate button, support button on the right side. You could always click on that, or you could just message me and we could set something else up elsewhere. But besides that, guys, I hope you're enjoying this, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Take care. Peace. I'm still in the running for best Orcs and Goblin army, guys. Have faith in me. Alright, later.